Good morning, everyone. Will Dupree here in the KXAN Live studio. We're bringing you a live picture from downtown Austin at the moment, where evacuees from Hurricane Laura are boarding buses to head back home to Galveston. As we saw earlier this week, hundreds of people fled that area after the city of Galveston issued a mandatory evacuation order because of that hurricane approaching from the Gulf. Now, the storm ultimately took a different path and really hit Louisiana much harder and stayed right there at the Texas-Louisiana border, devastating communities. However, many of those families came to Austin because it served as an evacuation center authorized by the governor of Texas. But there are buses right now wrapped around the side of the Austin Convention Center. A number of families stayed there while they were here in Austin, awaiting what happened with the storm. As you can see, bus after bus after bus is lined up there at the building. These particular buses are going to be heading back to Galveston. Again, that's where these residents came to Austin, not only to stay in hotels after receiving vouchers, but also some of them stayed at the convention center itself because it was located as a temporary shelter once hotel rooms reached capacity, and they filled up very quickly because a lot of people came here to Austin. We want to point out, though, that anyone who is heading back home here shortly from Austin, any of the evacuees, the state is asking people to do another step. So please listen to this. State officials are wanting all evacuees here in Austin, even those who drove here on their own, to check in with staff members at their hotels, a government official, or the Red Cross before they return. These check-ins will help cities affected by the storm apply for disaster reimbursement. That's going to be the next step in this process as the cleanup, as the response is happening for Hurricane Laura. We had talked about a number of evacuees setting to go back home today on buses. They started gathering at about 6 o'clock this morning, some at the Circuit of the Americas, and they started picking up evacuees from hotels at about 9 this morning. We had a photographer who saw people loading personal protective equipment and water onto those buses. This is all happening in the midst of a pandemic. Our photographer is resetting her shot there. Julie Karam is down there near the Austin Convention Center getting some footage of evacuees. She's moving her camera and resetting her shot at this point. I'm going to bring that shot down just so she can get a more stable position. Then we'll bring you another image of the buses gathered at the Austin Convention Center. Earlier this morning, the Transportation Department for the city did share out a tweet of the buses lined up at the convention center. If you want to take a look at this right here, I'm going to pull this up so you all can see full screen. The Austin Transportation Department tweeted that Hurricane Laura evacuees are arriving downtown to the convention center. Expect delays in this area. Please seek alternate routes. So if you notice some backup in downtown, the traffic there, this may be why. These buses lined up one after the other to board evacuees who came to Austin from the Galveston area and other parts of southeast Texas. They're headed back home because many of their communities were spared from the storm after it changed course, really, and devastated many parts of Louisiana yesterday. Our photographer has reset her shot. You can see people now putting their luggage into the bottom of these buses that are now lined up at the Austin Convention Center. I'm going to leave up this shot just for a minute as we recollect some information and then jump back on to let you know what's happening there at the Austin Convention Center in downtown Austin. You see they're finishing loading up luggage there on the bus. One just left a few moments ago as people are headed now back to southeast Texas. Many of these evacuees are headed home to Galveston. That city issued a mandatory evacuation order when Hurricane Laura looked like it was headed towards them from the Gulf. Of course, that storm took a very different path, went up closer to the Texas-Louisiana border and devastated many communities in that state. We've seen lots of damage there with roofs being torn apart, buildings destroyed, and glass shattered in many large buildings in that particular area, so there will be a lot of work to do in Louisiana to repair all the damage that was caused by Hurricane Laura. We are awaiting, once again, buses to keep departing from the Austin Convention Center. There is some social distancing aspect to this. They are limiting the number of people that will get on the bus. Obviously, they're requiring people to wear masks. You can see these people who are waiting to board one of the buses having their masks on. And we saw earlier today that personal protective equipment was actually being loaded onto many of the buses. Some of those that went to the Circuit of the Americas first this morning to start taking evacuees home to their respective communities in southeast Texas. So they're really trying to take this seriously and follow these guidelines because the pandemic is far from over, still sickening people, still killing people here in the state. We do know that as of today, the state of Texas will likely cross over the confirmed 600,000 case mark of COVID-19 here in the state. So again, they're trying to take this seriously, as we should all of us here across the state. If you're just joining us, what we're showing you right now is a scene at the Austin Convention Center in downtown. Evacuees are boarding buses to be able to go back to their homes after coming here, fleeing for their safety from Hurricane Laura. Galveston is where many of these people will end up. That city issued a mandatory evacuation order because of the hurricane, asking residents to get out. And our photographer showing you this one person has a dog in a crate there. People came with their loved ones, including their pets, to Austin to wait out the storm, see where it ended up, and stay here for safety for now. What is happening, though, is that a lot of the people who came here and were evacuated and are now returning home, they're asked to be doing a few certain things for certain financial aspects of the response. So state officials want all the evacuees in Austin, even those who drove here on their own, to first check in with staff at their hotels, a government official, or the Red Cross before they go back home. These check-ins, notably, will help cities affected by the storm apply for disaster reimbursement. That is why the state is asking people to do that. The buses are moving there, and you can see people getting off with their mask and loading up even more luggage and of their belongings into the bottom of those buses there as they await their trips back to southeast Texas after they evacuated. You can see there what appears to be a National Guard member helping some of these people load up their luggage and belongings into the bottom of those buses before they get on to head back home. Just to note, our photographer is downtown getting footage for our later newscast, so she may be adjusting her camera to get certain different shots for that. That's why you may notice it's a little bit shaky at this point. We're not bringing you a continuous live picture of what's happening there because we're wanting to get a little additional footage to be able to show people at home a little bit later today what happened earlier in downtown Austin. Once again, you're watching live as we're showing you a live picture from the Austin Convention Center. People are waiting to board buses and head back home to southeast Texas after they came to Austin to evacuate and wait to see what happened with Hurricane Laura. Again, buses are lined up in this area of downtown, so you may run into some delays. So please expect that if you're out and about today and in that area. The city wanted people to know that. So if you do notice more backups than usual, this may be why, as these buses kind of leave one after another heading back to Southeast Texas. There you can see one of the evacuees waving goodbye to our camera as that person is being loaded onto the bus via a wheelchair ramp. They had asked for different buses and waited back in when evacuations were happening a couple days ago. They had to wait on some buses with that capability to assist every person that was coming out of that area. And that's important as well, to be able to provide those kinds of assistance to people so that it makes it easy for them to be able to leave safely from their homes. Now that we've seen the storm hit, it's made landfall yesterday morning and really affected more of the communities in Louisiana. These families are now heading back to their homes in Southeast Texas. Many of these people going back to Galveston. That city issued a mandatory evacuation order. So lots of people, thousands evacuated, many coming here to the Austin area. We saw them stay in hotel rooms, and that was really purposeful. So there weren't traditional shelter settings as we would normally see them, where it's a large room with people gathered all in kind of one space. Because of COVID-19, the state made sure to provide vouchers so that people could go to individual hotel rooms so they could be separate from others and keep their health and safety a priority. We did see that because of the volume of evacuees heading to Austin, many of the rooms were filled rather quickly. The vouchers went fast as well, and then they had to open the Austin Convention Center so that some of the families could stay there. They did institute some of the rule changes so that people could maintain distance, and really kept it to about 135 spots so that people could stay separate and their health would be a priority, and that safety would be, of course, very, very significant there because the pandemic is still happening. You can see that National Guard members are assisting people, directing them over here to the buses that are awaiting their return back to Southeast Texas, many to Galveston. The city is asking people to please be mindful of any delays due to these buses all got lined up there. They're waiting for families to arrive, board those buses, and they'll head back to that area of Texas that evacuated earlier this week due to Hurricane Laura. There you see a bus now leaving Austin, carrying evacuees back to their homes in southeast Texas, particularly in Galveston. We've seen this morning dozens of people being loaded onto buses, their belongings packed back into them, and they're heading back home after they came to Austin for safety to ride out and see what happened with Hurricane Laura. We're going to take down our stream now because the images are going to be happening in this process throughout the morning as evacuees come back to the Austin Convention Center, get on those buses, and then head back to Galveston after that community was really spared from being hit by Hurricane Laura. Unfortunately, many other communities and towns and cities in Louisiana were not as lucky, as that is where the hurricane made landfall early Thursday morning. We've been tracking those the damages that were there, the response that is happening. As it unfolds, we'll keep you updated. Once again, I'm Will Dupree here in the KXAN Live studio. We'll see you back here another time. Please, everyone, stay safe and stay healthy.